Hey Violent Community, it's David Michael. I'm back with another video of thrift store finds, some new arrivals, and probably a couple stories. 4, 5 stories? Who knows? I'll keep it to a minimum today. Anyways, I'm going to try to just pack this into, God, I don't even know why I say that anymore. I'm going to try to pack this into a short video. We all know it's going to be that length of time, I always do. Anyways, like I said, it's Sunday afternoon. It's scorching here in my part of Canada. This week we're looking at high 20s, low 30s, which is not unusual, but it's a rare sight. Let's just put it that way, to have a long stretch like that. So why I tell you this will explain what I'm going to do right now. You're going to see something I haven't done in about 7 years. Going to have a drink of alcohol. It's scorching, and I found out that a store next to my house sells this beer, and all my friends have tried it, and I kind of feel like a bit of a bummer if I don't give it a try. Anyways, this might tell you what kind of beer I'm drinking right now. Anyways, I'm going to try the Trooper Iron Maiden beer. My wife has had a little bit already. She says it's very British. Take that for what it is. I don't know what that means. But let's try this. And anyways, kind of to tie this all together, what you're listening to right now, if you can hear it in the background, you're listening to Iron Maiden Live Plus One, which is, some people don't know this album. It's an official release. It's an early live concert with Paul Di'Anno. This copy is from Greece, actually. All the titles are in Greek, if you can see that. And a friend of mine went to Greece a few years ago and brought that back for me. But really good early live album with Paul Di'Anno. Let's get to it. And if I have enough sips of this, by the end of this video, you're going to see me completely hammered because I don't drink. Not that I ever had a problem. It's not really my thing. All right, let's try this. Yeah, that tastes like a very British beer. Whatever. I can see what she means by that. Anyways, there you go. You saw something 7 years in the making. So I think that was worth the click anyways, wasn't it? All right, I'm gonna get right to this. I'm gonna do something I don't think I ever do, is show CDs. Even though I have thousands of CDs, and I'm only gonna show you 2. Even though I have thousands and thousands of CDs from working in the music industry business thing, I always feel like I need a new crop of CDs for my car. And I don't burn CDs. My laptop is taking a crap on me, so I can't really burn CDs anyways. But sometimes I just get burnt out on what I do have. So went on the old Amazon. I'm going to show you a couple that I got. And the second one has a little bit of I need to defend it just a little bit. First one. This is probably one of the best progressive rock albums to ever come out of Canada. Apart from Rush, almost all quality progressive rock, almost, comes out of Quebec. Quebec to this day is still just a hotbed of progressive rock. This one was released in about it's the mid-70s anyways, and it's Furious Again. And it was the only collaboration that they did, one guy being Fury, one guy being Sagan. There you go. This was a $5 on Amazon, so it was a no-brainer. I have the vinyl, but until they invent a new way to play vinyl in my car, which is, and if that ever happens, I think hipsterism has reached a new high on that one. Anyways, obviously it's sung in French. The vocals are in French, is what I'm trying to say, and it's simply, like I said, one of the best. And probably you in the UK right now watching this are rolling your eyes because nothing ever good progressive rock came out of the UK, right? You Brits. Anyways, can't say enough good things about this album. Furious Again. If you're looking for an incredible Canadian progressive rock album, pretty much anything out of Quebec from the 70s, you can't lose. So that's number one. This one. This was a tenner on Amazon. I think it went up to $11.99 and it's gone up again. But I caught them on a price stop. Am I drunk? I think I'm drunk already. And let's add to it. I caught them on a price drop at $10, and I know a lot of hardened Genesis fans are really down on this album. It's Archive. It's the triple CD set. This was a companion piece. I did a little preparation. I grabbed the DVD off my shelf. It's a companion piece to this one. This was the Sum of the Parts documentary that came out, what, a year or two ago? And a lot of people didn't like this. I know a lot of people don't like this compilation. But I need to come to the defense of both really quickly. I know Darren Locke, if you're watching, I know you were kind of a little bit down on it. I need to defend it on the premise that I think this, and I think this, these were made for, in my opinion, mass consumption. This was not made for the hardened Genesis fan. The documentaries that came out as bonus material at the end of those remastered CDs, which I have a lot of them. I don't have all of them, I have some of them. But if you go on YouTube, several people actually have made playlists of all those documentaries of kind of them talking about all their albums they made. Those are incredibly good. And I think those were for hardened Genesis fans. I think this and this, these were kind of made for kind of like, you know, your casual Genesis fan, and probably with the hope that hardened Genesis fans kind of latched onto it. A lot of people didn't, but if nothing else, this was the last time probably we'll ever see all of the original members together. Although I can't remember if Anthony Phillips was part of this. He might have been interviewed. I don't think he was part of the ensemble interview where Steve Hackett came off like a little bit of a downer, and Tony Banks, as always, comes off like an arsehole. Anyways, I need to defend this, and I'm dropping it. I need to defend these two. If you look, for us in North America, a lot of people my age discovered Genesis with the Mama album. You know, the Shapes album, Mama. That's All. That was our first introduction to Genesis, and you know, then we kind of grew into Invisible Touch, etc., etc., and then we worked our way backwards. And that's the way I did it, and a lot of people I know did it. So that was our starting point. We didn't grow up with Foxtrot and Trespass and The Lamb Lies Down. Some people did in North America, obviously, but not, you know, we're talking about my generation, that 40-something generation. And I think this is kind of what this was made for, and hoping they can make some new fans. So if you're like a hardcore Genesis fan, you probably didn't get anything out of this. And I think this album here is a good introduction to Genesis, a little bit light on the early material, a little too many Tony Banks solo songs, but you know what, it's a decent introduction to the solo member songs and an overview of the Genesis collection. That's my defense of this. So like I said, I'm guessing if you're a hardcore fan, you were disappointed. If you were a newer fan, or maybe a North American fan that kind of started at Mama, the Mama album, you know, it's a good kind of reintroduction into the history of Genesis. There you go. Those are the only two CDs I'm going to show you. I'm going to get right to this. These are thrift store finds, and I don't remember if I have any. I think I have some new arrivals. I'm not quite sure, actually. Anyways, my son's done school. He finished school last week, and these finds, even though last video I said I wasn't going to go thrift store hunting, I haven't gone out specifically with my wife to go thrift store hunting, but going to pick them up from school, I passed by 3 of them. You know, leave a few minutes early. It's his last week. I stopped in, and I'm glad I did, because I found some really incredible stuff. Let me start off with this one. These were all, what, $2.99? Jaco Pastorius, word of mouth. These are all gold label promos, these next few ones I'm going to show you. So when I see a bunch, this one thrift store put out like 50, 75 records, and they were almost all Warner gold stamp promos. And when I see that, I think, because I was in the music industry music retail end of things for a lot of years, I've seen a lot of old representatives from labels dump their collections. I think I'm guessing that's what it was, because it was all Warner stuff. So probably an old Warner rep dumped his collection or her collection. But anyways, Jaco Pastorius, word of mouth. I wasn't even aware of this album. I have the self-titled Jaco Pastorius, but I'm not a hardened fan, so that was a new introduction to me. I was amazed. I'm well aware of this band. I don't know this album. I've played this probably 3 or 4 times since I got it and love it. And then I went on Discogs when I found it at the thrift store, and my God, it's worth a few bucks. It's an original promo copy of Chrome, Red Exposure. Now, if you know Chrome, you know they're a very tough listen, very experimental. But Chrome, that was an amazing find for thrift store. This one, if you know the band Wire, Pink Flag, Chairs Missing, 154, that Wire, Colin Newman. This is a gold stamp promo as well. Colin Newman is the guitar player and lead vocalist for Wire. And this is definitely an experimental electronic album from about I want to say 1980, around there. This is called, provisionally entitled, The Singing Fish. Like I said, it's actually I can't even see it if I pull this out. It's Beggar's Banquet, distributed by Warner Music in Canada, but it's an original promo copy. The most bizarre finds I've been having lately. But I could have bought 50 of them, but I kind of held back and I bought 3 of them. I bought 3 ones I would probably really listen to and really enjoy, and those were the 3 I got, was the Chrome, Colin Newman, and the Jaco Pastorius. Having said that, God, if I get hammered, God, Jared, if you're watching this, Jared, you're going to be really disappointed in me. You know, 3 sips and I'm hammered. Anyways, let's move on to this one. I'll show you the back first. This is a $1 find. Focus is there, I'm not sure. $1. And oddly enough, it's the only Springsteen album I didn't have. I thought a couple of videos ago that I had completed my collection up until it stopped at Ghost of Tom Joad. That's the only one that, from that album on, I don't have on vinyl. His studio albums, for the most part. But I found a really nice condition for a $1 copy of Nebraska. And I know I've had it. I'm guessing I might have put it into a package trade or something like that with a friend. But that was a super nice $1 find, I think. All right, we're gonna go on to this one, and I'm gonna butcher my French again. Like I said last video, you know, you're required to take French in school, and I took about 9-10 years of it. So every time I pick up a French album, I feel horribly embarrassed. If you're from Quebec, if you're from France watching this, I apologize right now. It's not like I've used it. I can watch a hockey game in French and understand it perfectly. When it comes to speaking it, different story. Because, you know, in Canada, we grew up with French CBC. And if you wanted to watch an alternate game to the usual Toronto one on Hockey Night in Canada, you had to watch the French CBC, and you got your Montreal games. And if you're a massive hockey fan like me, you kind of figured out French that way. Having said that, this was a really cool find for $1. It's a band called Autre Chose, A-U-T space C-H-O-S-E, Autre Chose. And the album is called Prends une chance avec moi. And when I went on to Discogs, it describes it as garage rock with some new wave post-punk, I guess. And that's kind of what it is. It's from early 80s. Might be 79, 80. I could be wrong on that. But anyways, I was really surprised how good this was. This is one of those times where a Discogs description kind of accurately depicts an album. And all the lyrics, again, are in French, which doesn't bother me at all. So I'm not sure if anyone knows this album. But that was a nice $1 pickup. These were the ungodly price of $1.99 each. And I picked these up because, you know what, everyone knows I'm a Kiss fan. And I got a surprise to show you in one of these albums. But anyways, this band was on Casablanca Records. Casablanca, you might know from Kiss. If you don't know Kiss, then Donna Summer, Village People, that label. This band was put together, and they were kind of poised to be the anti-Kiss. Kiss was dressed in black. They were dangerous. And this is early days. They were kind of marketed as that kind of band in the early days. And then this band was put together as kind of the anti-Kiss. They, you can tell by their name. They were kind of angelic. They were dressed in white. Their songs kind of referenced heaven a lot. But I found 2 original pressings of Angel, kind of a hard rock band. Original Casablanca Records pressing. And White Hot. Not the biggest Angel fan. I just kind of, I have friends who are, so I know I could probably flip this one pretty easily, do some trades. But inside this album here, for no particular reason whatsoever, this is what someone stuffed in these records. Original White Album, 8x10s. The ones that came in the White Album. And I have Lennon here somewhere. Sorry, Lennon's stuffed away somewhere, but all 4 of them were in there. That's cool because that makes my White Album complete now, because I was missing those postcards, oddly enough, or 8x10s, whatever they are. Anyways, Angel. Casablanca, like I said, tried to market them as, and I think Paul Stanley actually referenced it in his autobiography, that I don't think he thought much of them because, like I said, they were kind of poised to be the antithesis of what Kiss was. And then actually, oddly enough, Kiss became that kind of inoffensive rock band in the end. This album I picked up for $1 for no particular reason other than I get a real thrill out of hearing the James Bond theme on vinyl. But this is the first ever James Bond Greatest Hits album. I have part 2, which I think picks up with A View to a Kill. This one has, like, you know, Nancy Sinatra and Sheena Easton and Paul McCartney, Shirley Bassey, etc., etc., etc. But like I said, hearing the original James Bond theme on vinyl, I always kind of get a thrill out of. I am a pretty massive James Bond fan, and while I'm saying that, I'm going to do a cheers to Roger Moore. He's the James Bond I grew up with. Just an excuse to have another drink of Iron Maiden beer. But yeah, that was kind of a sad day. As big of a James Bond fan as I am, you know, like, once again, you know, my generation, I think a lot of the first James Bond movies we saw were, you know, like Octopussy, A View to a Kill. So we grew up with Roger Moore, and that's probably blasphemy to all you Sean Connery fans. Hey, it's my age, what can I say? From that same lot, if you know the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, do you know that scene where he's running down the street to race home ahead of his dad? There's a song playing on that, in that sequence, and this is this song. And I've never seen this 12-inch, and it's probably not that rare, but I love that movie, and I do have an affinity for Yellow. But a 12-inch single for the race, and as a nice bonus, it's got remixes of their kind of best-known song, "Oh Yeah." So that was a nice one for $1. Nice, and it's in super nice condition. Yellow, the race. All right, this is going to be your last one. I'm going to try to keep this brief, but I got a story to tell for this one. Sometimes you pick up an album. This was $1, by the way. Sometimes you pick up an album, and the cover tells you a story, and it kind of makes you want to. This is the long lost art of album covers. It makes you want to discover more. And when I jumped on Discogs, like I do, just kind of figure out what the hell it is, it gave me a brief description of what it is. That itself didn't really interest me a whole lot, but I had to know more about this girl. I'm going to show you the cover, and the fact that this is an original Spanish pressing where she's from, and it is worth a few bucks. Some people like for me to say that, but that's what it is. But let me show you this. There's a woman holding wearing one boxing glove, and there's the inside there. So I don't know, I had to find out more about this. It was $1, wasn't that much of a stretch. So like I said, this is an original CBS Spanish pressing. Her name is Cecilia. Cecilia named herself after the Simon & Garfunkel song, obviously. And she grew up in a very oppressive time in Spain. The government regime at the time was very oppressive and very, just like I said, they censored a lot of stuff. And, you know, we all know the kind of some of the atrocities that came out of Spain in that era. And Cecilia was a woman's right activist, which was kind of it was kind of shunned upon, and a lot of her lyrics were censored, and she was able to get away with a lot of things. But she wasn't like, that wasn't her thing. But she was a very strong woman, is what I'm trying to say, and you know, she was an activist for women's rights at the time, in a time when that wasn't that really wasn't approved by the general in Spain at the time. And then, like I said, I think she had a couple #1 singles in Spain, and then she died. She died in 1976, coming home from a show. One of her bandmates died with her. I think it was a car crash, and I think she had 3 albums. That's all she did. And you put on her. I did play this album a couple of times. It's very, like I said, very Simon & Garfunkel. It's very Beatles. Kind of vaguely singer-songwriter, but not really. There's a lot more to it. But this is a case where, you know what, it's kind of like the story is behind her, and I encourage you to kind of maybe read her story, Cecilia. It's like I said, it's a very interesting story, and the sad thing is that she died in 1976, and she was able to get, I think through being clever with her lyrics, she was able to get away with a lot. a lot of little coded messages regarding women's rights and whatnot. But anyways, I won't bore you anymore with that one. But I just, like I said, that's a time where I just was kind of just taken. I was taken with an album, just on the cover alone, and whether the music kind of resonates with me or not is kind of irrelevant, because I think that was a good story to tell. I didn't know, but I mean, it's all relative whether it's a good story to tell. I think it told me a good story, a nice background about a singer I didn't know, someone who kind of threw caution to the wind in a time of oppression. So there you go, Cecilia. All right, we're going to end this here, and we might have an all-time short video. I think we might, for me. Anyways, I got to end this really quickly by saying thank you to everyone who's been watching my videos. I really appreciate it. Leave comments, subscribe. If I don't reply to your comment, just give me a minute. I'll get back to you eventually when I have time. I'm very, very busy at the moment with work, so. But I will get back to you, I promise. So thank you once again. Let's end with this. We made it. I didn't fall over drunk. Take care, everyone.